Equipment, gadgets, tools. It's something every good video character needs. Batman has his utility belt, Agent 47 has a million different infiltration gadgets, and even Steve has his trusty pickaxe. And for a time, tools were equally important in the Assassin's Creed universe. That was until Valhalla was released, and ruined this mechanic in the eyes of many players. Well, in this video, I got some good news for you. Mirage is completely shaking up the Assassin's Creed tool system, and in this video, I'll lay out everything you need to know about these major changes. So, let's take a look. But before we get into this video, let's just take a moment to talk about today's sponsor, Instant Gaming. Now, Instant Gaming isn't like every other business out there, because they want you to save money rather than spend it. Instant Gaming basically offers the flagship games that you want for a fraction of the price. It's literally a dream come true for gamers like you and me. They also offer pretty cheap top-up cards, which is an added bonus. Right now, you can grab a pre-order of Assassin's Creed Mirage for 20% off. So, if you want to get your hands on Mirage and other awesome games for a fraction of the price, make sure to head to the link in the bio of this video. And hey, there's no need to thank me. A good set of equipment and tools is what sets the best assassins apart. Without these gadgets, you can be taken out by a ranged enemy just as much as a locked door. And in Assassin's Creed Mirage, Basim will rely on tools just as all the other assassins have. However, for Basim, a good set of equipment will be even more important. The protagonists in recent installments like Valhalla and Origins have been pretty tanky fighters who thrive in open combat and can take a real beating before needing to retreat. On the other hand, the gameplay footage has shown that Basim is only able to take a couple of hits before dying. Because of this, it's probably going to be the case that you're only going to be able to take out a couple of enemies at a time safely. The rest of the time you'll need to remain in the shadows. A good set of equipment is going to help you achieve this by providing distractions to enemies, silent methods for killing guards, and even ranged attack options. With that being said, we've actually got a pretty good idea of the kind of tools that we can expect in Mirage, thanks to the gameplay trailers and other leaked footage. So first things first, Basim will have access to a torch. This isn't exactly the most exciting tool in the world, but if other Assassin's Creed games are anything to go off of, it'll probably be one of the most useful tools in your arsenal. Next up on the list is the blow dart. So this thing is a silent projectile that will put victims to sleep instantly. This thing is going to come in very handy whenever you're trying to take out a group of enemies silently, or you want to make use of long-ranged attacks. This thing can also be upgraded to apply poison to the recipient or cause a nasty fit of rage. Another interesting gadget Basim will have access to is the smoke bomb. Now, no surprises here, but the smoke bomb releases a massive cloud of smoke when detonated. But what is interesting about this smoke bomb is that it releases red smoke rather than the white smoke we've seen in previous games. This smoke provides a great contrast with the environment and looks pretty cool in my opinion, at least. The smoke bomb can be used defensively to cover your tracks or block a line of fire, but you can also use it offensively to confuse and daze your enemies. A slightly more lethal option is the throwing knife. This knife is light and well balanced, making it accurate even over long distances. It's going to allow you to take out enemies from a distance, confuse remaining ones as to your location, and most importantly, it looks absolutely badass. The throwing knife can even be upgraded with better materials or alchemical properties for extra lethality. Another confirmed tool is the noisemaker. This one does what it says on the tin, but is definitely going to be one of the most useful tools in Mirage. You'll be able to draw enemies to a location of your choosing and bring the heat off of your actual location. We've even been told that you can modify this thing and turn it into a lethal weapon. And the last tool that we know about so far is the trap. The trap is a small proximity explosive that detonates upon impact. At base, the trap doesn't do lethal damage, but it can be upgraded to release a poisonous gas that will kill any enemy in a small radius. This is the first time we ever seen a placeable trap in an Assassin's Creed, so it's going to be very interesting to see just how powerful they are. All of these tools will come along Basim's standard gear, including his hidden blade and sword. It's likely that you won't be carrying all this gear on you at all times. There will be points in the story where some tools are needed to complete a mission, but other than this, you should be able to choose your loadout and customize it to suit your playstyle. And what's more is that the majority of this equipment is going to be upgradable. We've seen a few examples of this already, like you can make the blow dart lethal, recraft the throwing knife out of better materials, and turn the noisemaker into a weapon. How you choose to go about these upgrades is really going to come down to you and your preferred playstyle. If you like a sneakier approach, then keeping all your gadgets silent would be a good move. But if you prefer to make some noise, upgrading the blow dart to cause a fit of rage on the victim and turning your noisemaker into a bomb would be the best plan. Now, if you've ever played an Assassin's Creed game before, I'm sure you're probably thinking to yourself, you said that this equipment in Mirage is unlike anything we've seen, but I've basically seen all this equipment before. And you know what? You're right. Virtually all of these gadgets have been featured in multiple Assassin's Creed games before. The torch, smoke bombs, throwing knives, even blow darts. We've all seen them before. But here's the catch. In the previous game that used these tools, stealth wasn't the name of the game. Valhalla, Origins, and Odyssey all put stealth elements on the back burner, opting for a higher emphasis on open combat instead. And because of this, players hardly ever use these stealth-based tools. Sure, there were a few moments here and there where you basically had to use stealth, particularly in Origins, but come on. These were at the very best fleeting moments in otherwise completely open combat games. And this is where Mirage is different. Mirage has been built from the ground up as a stealth-oriented game. If you decide to go into missions gun blazing, you're just gonna die because Basim isn't as strong or tanky as previous assassins. The tool and equipment is designed to make up for these weaknesses. Smoke bombs will help you disappear if you get caught out by a group of enemies. Throwing knives and darts will offer you new avenues to take out enemies silently from a distance. And traps will help you cover your tracks. And there's literally no hiding from this style of play. You'll notice that I haven't mentioned any overpowered weapons that are going to allow you to take on a dozen enemies at once. There's no sepulcher axe that will save you if you're in a crowd. No, if you get caught out by a group of enemies, you're done. And this is exactly why tools and equipment are going to play such a huge role in Mirage. And in my opinion, at least, this is great to see. Assassins aren't meant to be tanks who could take on an army single-handedly. They're silent warriors who complete their missions without anyone even seeing them. The recent installments have kind of forgotten about this, so it's good to see Mirage steering the franchise back on track. You may also be thinking that this range of equipment isn't exactly extensive, especially seeing as equipment and tools will be all the more important in Mirage. I mean, just look at Valhalla. You could use 20 different tools from a parachute all the way to a whip, not to mention over 25 different weapons. Well, let's take a closer look at Valhalla. Sure, there are plenty more tools to use, but how many times do you actually recall using the whip, or the chase breaker, or the snare? I'm willing to bet not a lot. The game had so much stuff, but hardly any of it was useful. You unlocked a new piece of gear, used it for 5 minutes, and then never used it again. Mirage isn't going for breadth, it's going for depth. Yes, there won't be as many gadgets to use, but every single one of these gadgets is going to be absolutely vital to your survival. And yes, there might be an argument that the limited range of equipment could become boring, but I think that the criticism that Valhalla got pretty much counters this argument. The core game mechanics are going to be emphasized once again, and you can bet your bottom dollar that all these tools and gadgets will be more refined and more enjoyable to use. Ultimately, the new equipment system for Assassin's Creed Mirage looks to be like a breath of fresh air. Valhalla kinda lost its way in this regard, with Ubisoft trying to add so many new gadgets for players to use, which backfired pretty badly. To see that Mirage won't fall into the same trap is great news, and gives us every reason to believe that Mirage is going to make for an absolute blockbuster. Of course, I'd like to know, what do you think about this new equipment system? Do you think that less is more, or will this limited selection of equipment just make Mirage boring? And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our recent breakdown on Mirage's new skill tree. You should be able to see it on your screen now, and I'll catch you in the next one.